Right now, Derek Chauvin is in a correctional facility outside of Minneapolis some 6 hours after the guilty verdicts were read. And something from the courtroom is getting some notice tonight. As you see Chauvin being taken away in cuffs, if you take a close look at his left hand, you may be able to make out some scribble. TMZ is reporting that he wrote the phone number for his attorney. His lawyer confirms that he wrote that in anticipation of having his bail revoked.
And here's a look at the 3 charges Chauvin has been convicted on: second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. That highest charge of second-degree unintentional murder does carry a maximum sentence of 40 years in prison. But tonight, a Washington University law professor says the prosecution will push for more time.
There are some aggravating factors that the prosecution has put forward that they want to argue would mean that the sentence could be enhanced. So it could be even a higher sentence than what would normally be the maximum sentence.
And tonight, the countdown is on to Derek Chauvin's sentencing. It will be 8 weeks from tonight, so that will likely fall on June 15th. Chauvin waived having the jury decide his punishment, so that now falls into the hands of the judge. Corey.
Well, Sam, News 4's Ashley Lincoln has been following a reaction to the verdict across St. Louis. She is live downtown where this evening activists have been gathering. Ashley, what's their message tonight?
Their message tonight, Corey, is that the fight for justice does not end because of today's conviction. Earlier today, this intersection behind me at Market and Tucker was blocked off with those activists echoing that very message.
Find the defendant guilty.
Oh!
Verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Signed by
Relief heard around St. Louis. Many on edge, waiting for the jury's decision against Officer Derek Chauvin. One by one,
1:44 p.m. Juror foreperson, juror number 19.
gasp came as the judge read the verdicts.
Oh gosh, total relief. You know, we are so happy to finally get some justice.
I felt some of everything. I felt relief, and I felt a bit of joy.
News 4 was there as activist and Reverend Darrell Gray listened this afternoon. In 2020, Reverend Gray was instrumental in leading demonstrations that led to thousands marching for justice across St. Louis. Tuesday, he and a group of 50 activists shut down Market and Tucker after the verdict. Reverend Gray says this is about stating there is still a long road ahead and making sure there isn't another George Floyd case.
Today, a little pressure has been relieved, but the knee is still on our neck.
We're done with being shot down in the streets. We're done with the injustices that we are dealt on a daily.
I'm just happy to see the police are finally, have to be responsible for their actions.
Out in Ferguson, Kathy Jenkins, owner of Kathy's Kitchen, watched the verdict while she worked. Her business has been damaged after past protests of Mike Brown's death and last year's turmoil following George Floyd's murder.
We want things to be fair, and I'm just happy that things are happening in the right direction, and I believe our country can grow and learn from this, and I'm just excited to see what the future holds.
Racism and injustice affects all of us, directly or indirectly. And that's what people don't get. And until it begins to affect everybody, then nothing changes. And that's all that was. It was every night that we marched, it was being thrown down by police. It was being jailed.
And some activists and citizens tell us that they do believe today's conviction is a turning point in this discussion. Ultimately, however, many activists telling us out here today that they do plan to continue protesting and having conversations until long-term policies are put in place when discussing these excessive use of force cases. Sam and Corey.
Ashley Lincoln live downtown. Thank you. President Biden also weighed in tonight after the verdict was delivered.
He called it a moment of accountability that proves no one should be above the law.
We have to listen. I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Those are George Floyd's last words. We can't let those words die with him. We have to keep hearing those words. We must not turn away. We can't turn away.
Tonight, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri did not respond to News 4's request for an interview about the verdict. However, he did appear on Fox News.
I trust juries, and I trust that the jury here did its job. They certainly deliberated for a number of hours. I trust that they considered the evidence.
Senator Hawley went on to say there's never an excuse for violent demonstrations. He also says it's important to support law enforcement.
From my perspective, when it comes to law enforcement, that we get law enforcement the sort of support that they need. I think every cop in America deserves a pay raise. I think we need more cops out on the streets. I think we need to honor our law enforcement.
Mayor Tashara Jones also reacting to tonight's verdict, and it comes just hours after she was sworn in. She issued a statement that in part read, quote, "I am relieved to see that we are finally seeing the consequences for when our officers who are sworn to protect and serve the people violate the trust of those people." Mayor Jones also talked about addressing public safety in St. Louis.
Public Safety Department will be staffed with many types of professionals so that when you call 911, you get the right professional most capable of meeting your needs.
Coverage of the verdict continues on News 4 and CBS News tomorrow. Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, they'll be in St. Louis talking to Ferguson activists, and what comes next, that is set to air at 7:30 a.m.